Hello everyone, welcome back to the next video in Azure Data Factory playlist. So in our previous videos we have seen how to create Azure Data Factory and what is the use of Azure Data Factory, and we have seen the top level overview of how Azure Data Factory works and all the components available in Azure Data Factory. So if you haven't watched that videos, I highly recommend you to watch those videos so you can understand how Azure Data Factory works. So in this video we are going to discuss about what is integration runtimes in Azure Data Factory. So integration runtimes are the computing infrastructure provided by Azure Data Factory, so where you are going to define on which platform you are going to provide the data movement or data transformation. So just say for an example, if you are going to move the data from Azure to any other cloud platforms or within Azure, we can use a different type of integration runtime. If you are connecting with on-premise services or to an local service, then we are going to use any different kinds of integration runtimes. So we are going to discuss about this in detail in our video. So this is the hierarchy of connections we are going to make for any data movement or data transformation activities. So in this hierarchy there is integration runtime, which is the first step which you need to provide for any data movement activity. So there are three different integration runtimes available in Azure Data Factory, which is Azure Integration Runtime, Self-Hosted Integration Runtime, and the Azure-SSIS Integration Runtime. So these integration runtimes are the computing infrastructure. So you are going to define in which infrastructure you are going to work on. And the next level hierarchy is the linked services, which are also known as the connection points. So this will helps you to provide the endpoint of your source and the destinations and the configurations for your connections. Let's say for an example, for the authentication, so you need to provide the endpoint and the authentication through linked services. So basically, once you define the integration runtime, you are going to create a linked service to connect with your source and the destination. And finally comes the data sets. So data sets are used to define the data format specification. So you have connected to a source or a destination. So if you are going to move a particular component to your destination, then you need to provide which particular component you need to move. So that is the data set. Let me give it an example. If you are connecting to Azure Blob Storage and you are going to move those files into Azure SQL database, then you may need to define which file you are going to move. It may be a CSV file, Excel file, or a JSON file, or a Parquet file. So those things are the data sets. So the hierarchy level falls from this. First you need to define which infrastructure you are going to work on and the connection points, finally the data format. So let us see what integration runtimes helps us in Azure Data Factory. So it is help for data movements. So if you are going to move the data from your source to the destination, you need to provide the integration runtime first. So if you are working with Azure itself or with any other cloud platforms, you can use Azure Auto Resolve Integration Runtimes. If you are going to use on-premise service or a private endpoint, then you can use self-hosted integration runtime. If you are going to run your SSIS packages, then Azure SSIS IR provide the infrastructure for you. So data transformation, not only in your pipeline activities, you can use your integration runtime to perform data transformation through data flows. Even while creating the data sets, linked services for your data flows, you need to provide the integration runtime in which infrastructure you are going to work on. And integration tasks. So once you provide multiple activities, you can set all those activities in an organized manner and schedule it in your pipelines. So for the integration activities, the integration runtime is the first source and also the resource provisioning. So integration runtime provides you the resources available for your data movement. So it will automatically provision the resources needed for your data load or the data workload efficiently in Azure Data Factory. So let us discuss the type of integration runtime available in ADF. So the first think is Azure Auto Resolve Integration Runtime. So this is the default integration runtime provided by ADF when you create. So you don't need to configure any settings for this integration runtime. It will automatically be available once you install the Azure Data Factory. So once you create this resource, the Azure Integration Runtime will available for you. So you can use this Azure IR to connect with the resources available in Azure itself or with the other third-party cloud platforms. So to connect with any cloud platforms, you can use this Azure Integration Runtime to perform your data movement and data transformations. And second comes the self-hosted integration runtime. So if you are going to connect with your on-premise servers or any FTP files servers, so anything within your private network can be used to connect with self-hosted integration runtime. So the self-hosted integration runtime by default will not be available in ADF. So we must need to install the self-hosted integration runtime, and we need to configure all the settings for our needs. So let us discuss how to create a self-hosted integration runtime in ADF and how to download it and configure with your machines. So let us discuss those things further in our next video. So for now, self-hosted integration runtime is mainly downloaded and configured in your machine to access the on-premise servers or on-premise endpoints in our Azure Data Factory. So finally, the Azure-SSIS Integration Runtime provides you the infrastructure to run the SSIS packages. You may have created any SSIS packages. SSIS is nothing but the SQL Server Integration Service. So it will provide multiple workflows just like in Azure Data Factory. So you can use those packages in Azure Data Factory with the help of Azure-SSIS Integration Runtime. So let us see a simple use case which demonstrates this integration runtime. So we have a scenario to move Azure blob files to the Azure SQL database. So in this ideal scenario, we may use Azure Auto Resolve Integration Runtime. So the data transformation from source to destination is happening only on the cloud. So we have cloud data as a source, Azure blob storage, and we have the destination as a cloud storage, Azure SQL. So we may require only the Azure Auto Resolve Integration Runtime to perform this data movement. So we can create a linked service for Azure blob storage with this Azure IR, and we can provide the dataset format. It can be a CSV or a Parquet file. And finally, we have the destination. We are going to use Azure IR to configure with this Azure SQL linked service, and we are going to provide the dataset, which table we are going to load the data. And let us see another scenario where we are going to move the data from our on-prem SQL server to the Azure SQL. So in this scenario, we have moving the data from on-premise servers to cloud. So in this, we have the source Azure source as an on-prem. So we need to create the linked service with the help of self-hosted integration runtime. But we have the destination in a cloud, so we can use Azure Integration Runtime for Azure SQL. So in this scenario, we have on-premise integration runtime and as well as Azure Integration Runtime. We may also have scenarios where we are going to move the source and destination both are in on-premise. So let's say for an example, we are going to move the files from FTP server to our on-premise SQL server. So in those scenarios, we may use self-hosted integration runtime for both those concepts. So these are some use cases which demonstrates the types and use of Azure Integration Runtime in Azure Data Factory. So I hope you have understood a high level experience of what is integration runtime in Azure Data Factory and all the types of integration runtimes. So in our further videos, we are going to use those integration runtime to create our linked services and data sets and perform our data movements. So we can learn furthermore in our videos. So if you like this video, share with your friends, and please subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon so you will get the notification whenever I upload the video. Thank you for watching.